Hey everybody, CVH here, and today we're back with another Budget of 5 video. If you're unfamiliar with the series, what I've been doing in these videos is taking an established deck type, something you may run into on the ladder frequently, or just see once or twice and want to play yourself, and I take all the epics and legendaries out of one of the builds of it, and replace them with commons and rares, with the goal being to sort of teach you guys a little bit about how I replace cards and how I go about thinking of card replacements, and hopefully wind up with a finished product that works about as well as the original one did, with the same concepts in mind. Granted, of course, a lot of you, as I've mentioned, are going to be somewhere in between the super budget version and the full version, and you might not need to go as super budget as I'm going for these videos and restricting myself with 0 epics and legendaries and no expansion cards or monthly reward cards as well, but hopefully this gives you an idea of how to replace some cards. So let's get right into it. The deck we'll be going over today is Aggro Token Crusader. Now this is a deck that is pretty aggressive, and I've mentioned that a lot of the decks that are easier to make in the budget versions are going to be more aggressive as opposed to control-oriented decks with more late game, because a lot of those late game cards tend to be fairly expensive, and that's definitely true for the Crusader class as well. This is a deck I featured on the channel before. It focuses on being very aggressive throughout the game, trying to end the game quickly, and using some token-generating cards, charge token-generating cards as well, and getting max value out of them with cards that buff them up. So let's go over some of the key cards first, and a lot of these are actually going to be things we can keep in the deck, which is good, and a lot of the reason I'm choosing to feature this type of list. So we have the 5th Legion Trainer and the Orc Clan Captain. These are very critical. These are our main, cheap, effective ways to buff our little tokens up and represent a lot more power on the board than our opponent's prepared to deal with for a cheap cost, because we have the 3 raiding parties, which will give us the 2/0 cost Nord Firebrands. Resolute Ally is another way we have to buff them up. We're very yellow in this deck. As you can see, we are at 35 willpower and 18 strength. Of course, there's some dual color cards in here as well. 2 Divine Fervors. Now, many would consider this a staple as well, but since it's an epic, it will wind up being cut. And the last token generator is Markarth Bannerman, which will also have to be cut, but we'll find other ways to get maximum value out of our buff cards. So let's start by cutting some cards. Marked Man is out first because it's from the Fall of the Dark Brotherhood. And also, I want to note that I would probably play 3 Marked Men over 3 Scouting Patrols, maybe switch those ratios around. I have learned to love the versatility of the Marked Men, but I'll just be putting in 2 copies of Execute over the Marked Men for now, which is a very versatile early removal option for the deck. It allows us to play a bit more defensively, and somewhat similar to the makeshift defenses of the Marked Man, which is a lot of the reason I like it. It will allow us to protect some of our threats on the board from opposing attackers early. Next, we're going to be losing all 3 copies of Rift Thane, which I definitely recommend picking up if you're intent on playing Crusader. It's a very powerful dual color card, and I'm just going to put in Kvatch Soldier instead. There are some really good aggressive 2-drops in strength you could play as well, but I want to maintain the willpower-centric focus of the deck. Resolute Ally becomes even more important now that we won't have Divine Fervor at our disposal, and Kvatch Soldier is very good in the current metagame because it can block Goblin Skulk, which is a problem card for aggro decks for sure. The next replacement is going to cost 3. It's going to be Pit Lion. This is a lot of the reason I was playing the 3 Scouting Patrols, and it makes Scouting Patrol and Marked Man a lot better because you can get that giant body out there, but there is another 3-drop I have in mind, and that is Morthal Executioner. Like Pit Lion, well, unlike Pit Lion, it has relatively low stats when you play it, but like Pit Lion, it's one of those 3-drops that can sort of win you a game if it goes unanswered. It's easier to answer initially than Pit Lion, but it can start pushing for a lot of attack very, very quickly if your opponent disrespects it or just simply doesn't have Execute or Lightning Bolt or any of those immediately. Ideally, you're playing this when you can already get a buff on the attack value, but if it sticks for a turn or 2, it'll likely just carry the game. A slew of 4-drops are on the chopping block next. Dawnbreaker, legendary, we can't play it. Earthbone Spinner, this one hurts because we don't really have any other good alternatives for silence, I'll say. Earthbone Spinner is a very powerful card, and Black Dragon. So to replace these, I'm only going to replace a couple of them for now and leave the space for the end, and I'll add some other cards at the very end. We can't really duplicate the effects of a lot of these, especially the Earthbone Spinners, but what I'm going to do for a few of these slots is add 3 copies of Imperial Reinforcements, and this will just make our token buffs a little bit better. Gives us another way to make up for the lack of Markarth Bannerman, which we'll be cutting in a couple minutes, and I'm also going to add 1 copy of Warcry. Like Dawnbreaker, this can add a lot of damage to our push. It's a little bit more inconsistent, obviously. In order to get max value out of it, we'll have to have a pretty full lane. That said, Imperial Reinforcements should help this card a lot. I'm still not very comfortable playing more than 1 copy of this card, but I think as a spicy one-of, it could get the job done, and maybe get some people who weren't playing around it. It's a kind of an iffy card to play around, right? But very powerful in the right situation. Next, we'll have to be cutting 2 Divine Fervors, like I said, pretty critical. Hoffinger, which isn't really essential for the deck. I wouldn't recommend having to craft this right away, but it is a pretty good card that I was making use of because we are that aggressive, and the 3 copies of Markarth Bannerman. So with those cuts, we really lose a lot of our mid-game, anything whenever we can't close the game out super quickly, but we did have a pretty powerful mid-game thanks to Hoffingers and the Markarth Bannermans, which allowed us to close the games out effectively, but there is a card that can help us do that as well. We have 2 copies of Golden Saint. I don't really want to play 6 of these cards, I feel like that might be a little bit clunky, and Jarl's really good in this deck to refill your hand and find those buff cards or find those token generators, but Golden Saint, definitely a very powerful option as well, and we have 6 slots left, and I will be lowering the curve somewhat with these slots by adding 3 copies of More Cool Gatekeeper. These are all going to be red cards because we did actually go a little bit more into willpower. Currently we do have the 35 willpower still, so we could be all in willpower, or more so than we were before, but I will be adding 3 copies of More Cool Gatekeeper. Powerful Prophecy gives us some defense, gives us some offense, just an all-around very good card that can buff our little Imperial Grunts off Scouting Patrol and reinforcements as well. And to also take advantage of these, since we lost the Markarth Bannerman giving us those extra Charge Nord Firebrand tokens, I'll be adding 3 copies of Battle Rage Orc, which is another fantastic charge creature. Not quite as good as the Markarth Bannerman, but this card is, you can play it earlier, so sometimes you can get a favorable trade on a 2-drop or something like that. And it's another charge creature our opponent's going to have to worry about. So now we have still a lot of damage we can just have in our hand. Our opponent's going to see our board, maybe not think we can represent lethal, and then we can just still dump a good amount of charge creatures and buffs on the board very, very quickly. So that's the list as it is. We retained the core of the idea there. We're getting aggressive very early. We have ample supply of 2-drops, even more 3-drops now, I believe, and the Reinforcements Warcry package that could be pretty sweet, and some Golden Saints now at the top end of our curve. So let's play a couple games in casual, discuss some of these card choices, see if they work out, and just see if we can get some wins. I didn't mention this in the deck building portion of the video, but this will likely be the last Budget-ify video until Heroes of Skyrim releases on June 29th. Unsure about that, I might be wrong, but we will be keeping the Budget-ify series going past that. I'll be even revisiting some of the decks I Budget-ified already, depending on what new cards get released more than likely. With this hand still awkward, we would like a Scouting Patrol to start. This isn't really our ideal 2-drop with nothing else on the board, but I am tempted to keep it because if we ship everything and it gets a lot worse, that could be a big problem. I think I will be shipping the Morthal Executioner. Maybe we can try to buff that up and make it a bit more real. Let's see what happens with this mulligan. Now we get a 6-drop. Perfect. But Kvatch Soldier's actually good. Kvatch Soldier's actually somewhere we want to be on turn 2, more than likely. And yeah, as an aggro deck, this deck would probably like to have the ring more often than not. Spriggan, this is one of the cards we can easily contest with a Kvatch Soldier, so let's do that right now. Dark Guardian. Now we do have Executes in the deck now. This would be a perfect time to draw one. Battle Rage Orc, not quite as good. We could Resolute Ally, it doesn't really do a whole lot in the right. It does set up to kill the Dark Guardian. That's a lot of work to get through, honestly. It's kind of annoying. I think I would like to get that out of there. Let's give it a shot. Let's Ally first. We hit, it's not the most relevant of hits. I am tempted to just not attack though and make him do that and then trade him with my Battle Rage Orc next turn. If I attack here, you can go face, and then that's 2 life that I might not be taking otherwise, which is actually important for this deck now that we have 5 of the cards that really care about our life total. So I will try to make him do it. The only card that punishes me here, well, there's like a couple. There's like Crushing Blow, Finish Off, but if he Crushing Blows this, he would still Crushing Blow this, so he could kill both of my creatures on board. Finish Off would be sort of a punish though. Now we can Battle Rage favorably into that, hit for 3, and make him continue to trade. The only other play in our hand is Bruma or Clan Captain. Is that any better? I don't really think it's too much better. I'd like to save the Orc Clan Captain for a lot of token generation, or a wide board already, so we can get maximum value and a lot of damage going.
The waters of life.
Tree Miner, so he's playing something of a Ramp Scout deck. Maybe Budget-ified too. Maybe some sort of budget Ramp Scout. And there's a Golden Saint, so we are happy we're ahead in life, and we can keep being ahead on life thanks to the Bruma. These get even better in the deck too. Also very good against other aggressive decks, so you might be seeing a lot of those at low ranks. And if we can Resolute Ally successfully this turn, we can then keep our Battle Rage Orc alive. We are super favored. Oh, we whiff. Feels bad, man. Feels bad. That can sometimes happen. We are quite favored, but we're not completely 100% favored. Yeah, against a deck like Scout, going wide with the Golden Saint's very, very powerful, and we have the Jarl to refill our hand, even though we haven't dealt as much damage early on as we would kind of like to in most games. I'm still feeling very good about the situation. That is powerful. That is a powerful creature he just played. think I will likely still just Golden Saint, though. I don't need to refill my hand yet. I'd like to play my hand first. Face and face, and no prophecy. That's good. And we're even finally getting into the field lane. We had to address the shadow lane early because we can't just let a Voracious Spriggan drain every turn of the game. That would be a little bit counterproductive for an aggro deck.
There are ill winds this day.
Not to nitpick, but first that seems like a misplay. I believe he could simply make that a 4-5 and trade that to that and that to that. And now he still can't kill this 4-4. Let's get another plan. Yeah, I don't like this as much. He could have moved that over, made it a 4-5, traded favorably, traded the 4-6 into the 4-4, traded the 4-4 into the 3-3. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's kind of a close situation to what it could have been. But he could have all three things alive instead of two of the three things. That said, he does have control of the field lane now, which is slightly annoying for me. Like, I want to Jarl, but it's not super efficient on the board. I think I will just Jarl on the right, though. I don't mind if he hits me for a bit. But first I'll attack and see if I accidentally break a prophecy. Thankfully not. And now we can see like the real power of Raiding Party, right? With the 5th Legion Trainer and 2 clan captains in our hand, all of the Nord Firebrands have 4 damage. If we just go 5th Legion, Orc Clan, Raiding Party, that's 8 damage from a Raiding Party from hand. Now again, he could have Dune Smuggled this over to the right and gotten a favorable trade on my 3-3. Maybe he's just taking a more aggressive approach. Grand Ball, oh Jesus. Oh my god. Alright, everything is huge. Wow, that's the best Grand Ball I've ever seen in my life. I might actually lose. That's a real possibility now. Yeah, I mean, I think we just have to block it. I'm not seeing a way we could ever kill him next turn, even with a good of a hand like we have. And it effectively kills the 5-3. That was very lucky for us, at least. Raiding Party would have been so sick there. He only has 19 damage in this lane. I feel like it's unlikely that turns into 23, but he could just have another Cliff Racer. I don't know how much I can play around that. Because I'd like to just play 4 2-drops, all on the left, and like maybe set up to perfect draw him out of the game. Is that unrealistic? Well, if we 5th Legion, Kvatch, Orc Clan in the right, the Kvatch soldiers have 4 attack each, and they're not trading evenly with that. Let's be aggressive, let's see what happens.
Training is over. It's time to act.
Awaiting orders. We stand united.
I think my only lethal draw might be Raiding Party, but I feel like he's going to give me multiple cards this turn, and I have a lot of magic to work with. Like, he's going to probably hit at least 1 rune down, right? He could just kill me with a Cliff Racer, or I could just keep getting incredibly lucky. That's an option too. So this will go up to 5 attack if I want to buff itself. Then he could double trade. I think I just want to buff something else, though. Yeah, I'll go ahead and buff something that's unlikely to die this turn. Because this is just dead. No matter how much attack it has, it only has 2 health and he's trading. Or just killing it with something from his hand. Contract, well he's already at 9, he already had the ring, so I don't care too much about that. That'll be pretty sick here. Warcry.
I raise the spine of obedience.
Nice whiff, even though we did have the Jav.
You will die, Shadeskin.
So the addition of the more cool Gatekeeper prophecies did save us, as a matter of fact. Alright, well, let's attack here first. I think we do kill him this turn. We have this and then this.
Ride them down.
Oh man. Still have a jab though. Still have a jab. Dark Harvester! Oh my god. Oh. That's crazy, guys. That is just craziness. Alright, so we have 4 damage here. 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, we could just jab it. If we jab it, we save 4 damage. And we go 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. This is 4 attack. We're 1 off thanks to Dark Harvester. 1 mana and 1 damage off. So we have to find a way to stay alive.
I hear and obey.
You can't defeat me.
Come at me. Come at me.
There's a plan.
I'm ready for anything.
Your orders.
I'm not digging this, guys. I am really not digging this. Does he have 1 more damage? Fortunately, Dune Smuggler doesn't do it because we have a guard over there. He just buffed by 1 and breakthrough for 1 more, but I have 1 health over here, so be the exact same amount of damage. Oh my god, Dark Harvester, why did you do this to me? If that jab was an execute, we would have killed him. If we had 10 magic, we would have killed him. Oh, he's going face. I think he has it. Well, was he trading? Was he trading? Are we okay? Are we dead? Are we dead?
My claws are sharp and thirsty.
That doesn't kill me. I'm not dead, guys. I'm not dead. Nothing jab. It's just taunting me right now is what it's doing. Oh my god. That was really close. I almost lost to Grand Ball. Alright, got a mage. On the ladder, most mage decks, I think, are just going to be a control. Maybe not at the lower ranks. Not exactly sure which mage decks are the most popular. You're probably okay against Action Mage, but you're probably unfavored against Control Mage. Now, Divine Fervor is a card that can really help you against those control decks that don't have Shadowfen Priest, because they don't typically have support removal for Control Mage or Control Monk, and your Divine Fervors are going to get your important cards out of range of things like Execute, Firebolt, Ice Storm. Either 2-drop could be correct given what he plays. I don't want to aggressively ship it. The only thing we really want to see is a scouting patrol. Ring on turn 1 into double scouting patrol. Jeez. Yeah, I'm gonna mind my life total. Could play 5th Legion too, because they trade's fine, but I want to try to not take damage. You could just have, like, the stones here.
We are ready for anything.
Sapper's not really the stones, I don't think. It's double Sapper, double scouting patrol.
I hear and obey.
I like seeing that. Nothing super efficient to do this turn. I guess I just go face for this amount and play a Morthal on the left. I can play in the right too, but I like to finish that off next turn. We can play Hive Defender in this lane, and hopefully that'll just take care of everything, unless he has a Jav.
I hear and obey.
Getting ahead on life early is just not a thing that we can do this game. So we're gonna have to play board control a bit.
It's nothing personal. Acknowledge.
At least he's not dealing a ton of damage.
It's nothing personal.
Execute's apparently very nice in this matchup now that we know he's not a control deck. You could even go 5th Legion Scouting Patrol Execute. That might be better than Hive Defender, honestly. Hive Defender's really weak to a single Jav. Nah. We'd be executing this one, right?
Training is over. It's time to act.
Soldiers, reply well, fool.
Your orders. Your orders.
Don't want the 1-3 to trade with my 2-1. I probably won't trade this in. I'll probably just send it to face and play Hive next turn.
Chimera, guide us.
Oh, jeez.
I hear and obey.
Those are those Divine Fervors we're talking about. They're pretty good cards. I recommend them. Ooh, that was not the right attack order. Did not get that drain in. That could actually be important. You never know. Now I might trade it in. Now it's kind of favorable, right? If we trade that in, I would really like to get both these out there. Maybe I can just do that.
Acknowledged. Obey. Acknowledged.
You can't defeat me.
Farewell, fool.
Training is over. Training is time to act.
3 5th Legion trainers, and he can't actually answer any of them on board. Tiger's solid.
I hear and obey.
Tiger at a 5/8's really solid. We can get ahead on life if we really want to. And these are 7 attack each. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Defeat me.
Yeah, that's actually... We could actually just trade this in too. That's fine, I think.
You can't defeat me.
If we don't have a prophecy, that is.
You can't defeat me.
Farewell, fool.
Go there,
You
hit for
can't
3.
defeat me.
Double Saint with a board of 3 5th Legion trainers. All those equipments. Casual 8 or casual 6 magicka,
Training is
14
over. It's time
attack
to
value.
act.
There's always a plan.
Calm.
Into the breach.
You can't defeat me. By our service, we honor kind. You can't defeat me. You can't defeat me.
Man, we hit 2 prophecies too. We could have made the call to trade into that. It's getting aggressive. Our Hive Defender is still really good against these two. But yeah, I was probably right to trade. Because we have that, which he's going to trade into. Still probably fine though. Might just commit these both to left, or to the right lane.
There's a plan. There's always a plan.
We have 13 damage, so he needs to heal for 10. And kill that. Or kill all this. Or most of it. He only has 7 magicka. I think we're fine. So I made the very aggressive and possibly wrong attacks.
My fight is done.
That was a fun one. It's like the most 5th Legion trainers I've seen in a long time. So that's it for a bit of the Budget-ify Aggro Token Crusader. A really fun deck, I enjoy playing it a lot, and I think it works really well on a budget too, as we found out a little bit of today. So as always, if you've enjoyed, feel free to leave a like, try the deck out for yourself, let me know in the comments how it goes. Feel free to stay subscribed to the channel for more Elder Scrolls Legends content. Be sure to check out that Budget-ify playlist to see other decks that we've budget-ified and more coming in the future. And check out my stream in the description down below, and I'll see you guys next time.